I don't cut your voices out. First of all, that would be a lot of editing. Second of all, it's kind of unnecessary. Oh, no. Maybe I'll see it. Oh, no, not right now. Okay, so for the first part of the notes, we're not going to rewrite all the vocab. We're just going to put study note cards or notes number 2. So when we're finished, make sure obviously you put those with this in your binder. All right, going on to the next page, okay? This is probably one of the biggest chunks of the study guide. It says landforms, describe how each is formed. This is different than the definition, okay? Go ahead and circle that. If I want you to describe how the landform is made, Mia, you with me? If I want you to describe how it's made, I don't want to know that a glacial valley is a valley formed by a glacier. Okay, that's in the name. Okay, I understand that. I want to know how is that made. Okay, I don't want to know that a sand dune is a mound or a hill made of sand. I want to know how that is formed with erosion, deposition, and things like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Before we write the answers, I want you to put a star at the top. These are going to be your essay questions on the test. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. And they are going to be worth 5 points apiece. Okay? So just these 3 are 15 points on the test. Okay? So make sure you can describe them and describe them well. Yes? No. Just means this is the essay question. Where when you give me the answer, it's like a mini paragraph. Because instead of writing like one short answer, you're giving me a longer answer. Okay? All right, let me write in pencil so I don't bleed through the page here. Okay, so glacial valley. Someone give me an explanation of how a glacial valley is formed. So we're going to start by a glacial valley is formed. And these are your notes, so you can write and print. A glacial valley is formed how? Vivian?
When a glacier.
Which is what?
Ice.
A mass of frozen water or ice.
Rolls down the mountain, and it chips off pieces of rock as it goes down, and it creates a new shape.
Okay, good. So, a glacier valley is formed when a mass of frozen water, which is the glacier, what'd you say, it moves down the hill? Okay, let's stop our first sentence there. Moves down the hill, and as it moves, it chips away everything in its path. Kind of like a bulldozer. We'll add that. Carving out a U-shaped valley. Now, when I go to grade your essay on the test, am I going to check to see if it's word for word what I have here? No, I'm not. But I am going to check that you have, first of all, you're explaining what a glacier is. Okay? And you do have to have a U-shaped valley. So I want you to go ahead and either highlight that word, you can circle it with your pencil if you want, underline it, put a box around it, either way. But you do have to clarify that this forms a U-shaped valley. That's part of what I will be looking for. Okay? Now, when you study this, like I said, you don't have to memorize these whole 2 sentences and write it word for word on the test. Okay? But your answer needs to look something like this. Describe what a glacier is, and then as it moves down the hill, it leaves behind a U-shaped valley because it takes out everything in its path. Okay? Good.
Do you think the strait between North America and Asia was formed by a glacier?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess it could be, but usually a strait like that is formed by erosion over time. Okay? Good question, though. All right, canyon. A canyon is formed when? How? Ian?
A canyon is formed by water slowly eroding the top so it's deeper and deeper into the
Okay. So it's formed by water flowing over flat ground. We'll start with that. Okay, pick up from there, Ian. Finish that up again.
A canyon is formed by flowing over flat ground and it slowly erodes from the ground.
Over time, it forms a what kind of valley?
V-shaped valley.
There we go. Okay. And then once again, you do have to mention that it is V-shaped. Okay. That's how a canyon is different than a glacial valley. Well, one of the ways. Hannah? Uh-huh.
I'm like on this.
You're good. You're good. I'm going to leave them all up here at the same time. Okay.
You know, that coronavirus is so small that you just go through the top.
I have heard that. But I have also heard that it does help at least a little bit. Garrick?
Well, if it only has to do with when the virus.
Well, that's the big debate.
And I think that over half of the people, over half of the deaths of coronavirus are
Well, I don't think that's what's causing their death, but there's that argument as well. I have to do more research to figure out what's going on. Not right now. Huh? Hurry.
So the mask don't help, though it helps keep it from not spreading.
Helps keep your germs to yourself?
Yeah, like keeping stuck in the coronavirus and get it, it helps a little bit by not letting other people get.
Truthfully, there's a ton of debate on both sides. It kind of ends up being more of an opinion and who you believe. All right, sand dune. Okay, someone give me a good explanation for how a sand dune is formed. Dominic?
A sand dune is formed over time when a wind blows sand into a place. A huge wind hits a lot of sand and deposits into a different place, and over time it builds up.
Okay. Okay, so a sand dune is formed over time when wind blows sand into a place. When the wind stops blowing, keep going from there, Dominic. Keep going from there. Like, finish up my answer. When the wind stops blowing, it drops the sand into a pile. Or I guess you could say a mound. When the wind stops blowing, it drops the sand into a pile or mound and forms a sand dune. Perfect. Okay. Yes.
That's doing erosion and
Mm-hmm. Typically, they do go together pretty often. Yes.
eventually, would the sand dunes become little pieces of rock?
If you have compaction and cementation, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good question. All right. If you finish writing this, I'm not going to change it yet, but if you finish writing this, I want you to try and fill in this box down here, the cause and effect box. Okay? However, I highly suggest you do it in pencil, because if you get it wrong, I'm going to tell you what the right answers are. Ian?
You spelled something wrong.
What did I spell wrong?
So, third line, it says sound.
Drops the... Oh, good catch. Thank you.
I remember in fourth grade, we caught the most mistakes that Miss Nye made. Remember?
Aw,
Yeah.
Mrs. Nye.
She caught like 50 mistakes.
We make a ton of mistakes, don't worry. And the more tired we are, the more mistakes that we make. That is for show. Dominic, there's a tissue right there. Is that good? Do what? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave those up there. Hannah, are you at least done with Canyon? You are? Okay. I'll leave sand dune up there if you're still writing that one, but I'm gonna go on to the answers for this one. Okay. So it says fill in the blank with the name of a landform. Identify and write at least one landform that is an effect caused by ice, water, and wind shaping the Earth's surface during the processes of weathering, erosion, deposition. Okay, so we're going to fill in a landform over here that is formed by this process over here. Okay, what landform is caused or is constructed from the wind depositing things? Hannah, a sand dune. Very good. Okay. What landform is caused by water eroding something? Rogelio, what do you think? So, say it again. What landform is made from water eroding things? Erosion by water will form a what kind of landform? Okay, let's think about it this way. What does erosion mean? Yes, so it's the carrying away of particles. So when water flowing through an area carries away more and more pieces, and then eventually digs deeper and deeper, right? that forms a what? A canyon. So that is the landform made from erosion by water. Okay? Now, what about deposition by water? When water drops sediments and they settle and build up over time. What is caused after that? Ben?
Is it okay if we put valley erosion by water?
Yeah, I guess you could put canyon or valley. Okay, deposition by water. Vivian? A delta. Very good. As the water drops more and more sediments, right, those sediments build up into piles, and the river then has to go around it instead of over it once it gets high enough. Okay? Erosion by ice. Garrick? Glacial valley. Good. Glacial valley. Okay? Once you have that, go on to the next page. Yes.
What is erosion by water? Probably like the bottom of the glacier.
The bottom of a glacier? I guess you would still call that a glacial valley, though, because that water wouldn't be there without the movement of the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Even that water at the bottom of the glacier would still be forming part of the glacial valley. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
So did we not do the first page because we just study or not?
Yes. Okay. For this process here, I'm going to do it in color or a darker pen or something so you can see my answers. But this is just exactly what we had on the quiz and on the notes. We're going to fill in the boxes with the process words on how sedimentary rock is formed. However, to keep it consistent with our notes, I want you to cross off this arrow here and this arrow here. Okay? And we're going to go like this. Because that's the order we had it in our notes. I don't want to mess that up. Okay? London, you good? Okay, thank you. All right, what goes in the first box? Macy?
Weathering.
Weathering. Macy, what is weathering? Yes. So I'm going to put a little definition up here. This is when the rock breaks into pieces. This is just to help me understand what's happening here. All right, what happens next? Johnny? Erosion, which, what's a little short definition I can put that there?
Carrying a sediment.
Okay. Carrying sediments. That'll work. What's next? London, what goes in the third box? Good. And what's our keyword there? Dropped. Good. So we're going to put dropped off. Okay. Remembering that D in deposition is supposed to remind me of the D in dropped off. Dominic, what goes next?
Compaction and sedimentation.
Mm-hmm. Compaction and cementation. How can what's a little short definition we can put for compaction, Dominic? Ooh, if heat and pressure are added during this process, it can form fossils and fossil fuels. But what does it mean to compact something? Kind of, yeah, to squeeze together. Okay, and then what do we mean by cementation? Gary?
So it's pretty much kind of mold, or not mold, but create. And it's how you create. It's not compaction. It's kind of different. It's like.
It's when the sediments get what?
Become rocks.
Because the pieces are what together? Think about the word cement.
Cemented together.
What's another word for that? Stuck together. Glued or stuck together. Okay. And then the last part of the process, Vivian?
A new sedimentary rock.
Good. A new sedimentary rock is formed. Okay. All right. The next main chunk of the rest of the study guide is short answer. Okay. So we're going to answer the questions, but they do not have to be in complete sentences. What can fossils tell us? There are a couple things that a couple questions that scientists can answer by looking at the fossils. Dominic, what's one?
There was life.
There what?
There was life.
They do tell us there was life. Specifically, remember if I go outside and find a fossil of a fish somewhere, that tells me there must be what? Good. Was there a lake or ocean nearby? Which also kind of goes with what kind of organisms were in that area. Okay, and then there's one more. Ian?
So,
one more thing they can figure out.
how old?
Mm-hmm.
And also, can we do what kind of species was
Sure.
there?
Okay. Where are most fossils formed? Dominic?
Probably.
They could be, but in what type of rock? Good. Remember we talked about how it's kind of like Play-Doh. As those sediments form around the object, it leaves the imprint in the rock. Okay, this is kind of a longer answer. How are fossils formed? Hannah?
The organism died. So the organism died. And then rocks pile on it. And then before it decomposes, and then it starts to decompose under the rock, forming a fossil.
Okay. Sediments must pile up before it decomposes. And then as the rock forms, it leaves an imprint. Good. Good job, Hannah. I know you're still writing. It's okay. I'm not going to change anything. But when do fossils become fossil fuels? What has to be added? Mia, what do you think? How do we make a fossil into a fossil fuel? You have to add two things. You remember one of them? When enough blank and blank are added. Very good. Yep. When enough heat and pressure are added. Okay? That will turn the carbon that was inside the living organism's body into a fossil fuel, either coal, oil, or natural gas. Finn?
What would happen if somebody put water on or wind? Would it just go?
Probably, yeah. That or boil.
Oil.
Mm-hmm. The side of the moon that's in the sunshine is very hot. It doesn't have an atmosphere, so there's no regulating of temperatures. It's just either really, really hot or really, really cold. Yes. Yes. What is energy?
Energy is power to action.
Good. The ability to do work. That's just another way of saying what you just said. Energy is the ability to do work. Whether that is power an object, whether that is moving something or moving your body, whether that is creating electricity, the ability to do some kind of work. What do people use a lot of in their daily toil? Toil means like work or daily life. Dominic? What kind of energy? We wish, but what type of energy do we use all the time?
Electrical.
Good. Electrical energy. Which is the big reason why we end up burning so many fossil fuels. That's the big debate. We use so much electricity, so we have to burn fossil fuels for that, but we're trying to find better ways to create the energy for electricity rather than burning fossil fuels. But we use so much of this, we have to find a solution. Okay? I'm leaving that up there, but once you're ready, turn the page. Get the rest of these short answer and then the back page. Where does our electrical energy come from? It doesn't come from the wall. We talked about this. Hannah, where is it created? Power plants. Good. And then how does it get to the wall? Hannah?
It is connected to circuit that gives the output, so whenever you plug in it, there's kind of like wires to the wall.
Very good. The wires transfer it from the power plant to the building. I know it's frozen. Hold on. Everyone good on here on this one? Grayson, are you still good on this, girl? Okay, go ahead and go to the next page, and then at the end of class, I'll get you the answers for that, okay? All right, where does our electrical energy come from? It originates in power plants and gets carried to our buildings through wires. You're going to be writing. You have what I have? What do you have? Read it. Power plants transfer wires to the building. They transfer what through the wires to the buildings? Okay, that would be better. Ian.
I wrote something different from number 7.
Okay, what did you write?
Power plants have wires that connect to our houses and buildings, and the wires.
That's fine. Huh? Yes.
I started writing what was good.
Is it similar to what I have here? Okay. As long as you have that it's created in power plants and then transferred to buildings through wires, you're good. Okay. Number 8, where does the energy in fossil fuels originate from? Now, yes, it's in the body of that living thing, but where did that body get it? Or plant get it? Hannah? Nutrients that okay, so let's maybe a cat or a rabbit or something. Oh, that's sad too. A wolf. Okay, the wolf had to eat something else to get it, right? He either ate another animal or he ate plants. If he ate an animal, that animal probably ate plants, right? Where did the plants get the energy from? The sun. Very good. What is released from fossil fuels when it is burned? Energy in the form of what? What's that word I keep saying? Anna?
Was it like
That thing that's in the living body that gives it energy? It does. Not quite. London? Carbon. Energy in the form of carbon. Okay. Leave your things in your desk. Push your chair in and stand behind.